Another box office win for the Divergent series, as the newest installment, Insurgent, took the top spot, making $54 million in its opening weekend, just slightly down from the $54.6 million Divergent made on its opening weekend 1 year ago. In second place was last week's winner, Cinderella, making $34.5 million, bringing its 2-week worldwide total up to $253 million. In the third spot is the Liam Neeson action film, Run All Night, making $5.1 million. The new Sean Penn film, The Gunman, flopped on its opening weekend with just $5 million to take the fourth place. And rounding out the top 5, KINGSMAN, The Secret Service, makes another $4.6 million for its 6th weekend in a row in the top 5, bringing its worldwide total up to $295 million. John, what stands out to you about this week's box office report?
To start with, Insurgent is actually a pleasant surprise. I mean, I honestly didn't think the reviews for Divergent weren't actually all that bad, but they weren't exactly spectacular either. I thought that Insurgent would probably come in at about 40. If you asked me to, I think somebody did ask me about 2 weeks ago, and I was guessing around 40. So 54, 55, 56, that's got to be a number that they're very happy with. Yes, it's not higher than the first one, but the first one was a real pleasant surprise to them. I don't think a lot of people expected to make that much money on its opening weekend. So that stands out to me, like, good for it. The other one, obviously, it's getting repetitive. We have to talk about it all the time. KINGSMAN still in the top 5. 245, whatever million plus, never would. I don't think the most optimistic person at the studio would have ever said, oh yeah, this little movie is going to be, around $250 million worldwide by the time it's all said and done. I don't think they ever would have guessed that. So these things all stand out to me a lot. The Gunman, I knew it was not going to be a hit. I liked the trailers, but I knew they weren't going to do a lot to bring a lot of other people in. But I thought it would crack 10. So yeah, there's not much of other word to use for that other than flop. So those are the ones that stand out to me. Schnepp?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same. KINGSMAN is just refuses to go away, which is great because that's just positive word of mouth. Everyone at this table who saw the movie was like, go see that movie. And then the people who saw that told their friends and so on and so on. So it's that ripple effect, which just keeps sticking around. Sometimes it even hops up to 4th place.
Yeah, it's fourth, gone up and down,
fifth,
but always in the top 5.
Yeah, and then Detergent, that's a weird one for me because I thought for sure, that after, and I was one of those people who didn't see the first one, then I saw the second one, and I would have never guessed that it would make $54 million, but hey, good for that one, right?
Christian?
The Detergent series, the third one, Bleach. Look, very similar to what you guys were saying. With Insurgent, the good news is that the fan base is sticking around to see it.
Yeah.
The bad news is that no one else will be. Because, like, you take the Hunger Games, which fans of the series obviously saw, and then it brought in a whole bunch of people who hadn't read the books. I think that this series will continue to do that through its 4-picture run. It'll probably open up the next one with 54. Same thing, because the fans want to see how it ends. This movie proves that. It's want to continue it. So that's interesting. Like you said, I thought maybe 45, 50, but that looks like the fan base that's watching it. Now, the difference between like the Gunman and KINGSMAN is that I think if the Gunman would have had the type of, because you had said this a couple weeks ago about, I think there's a fan question that said, do critics, do they influence whether or not people see it?
Right.
And the answer is sometimes yes and sometimes no. I think this would have been the answer of sometimes yes, because what the KINGSMAN clearly did, everyone raving about it, you go and see it, the word of mouth spreads. I think the Gunman could have, if it was good,
right?
People would have been talking about it, seeing more. So I'm not shocked that it did as bad as it did, because it's not a great movie.
There's no buzz.
There's no buzz on it. So those are the other ones. And yeah, KINGSMAN being in the top 5 is great. I think it'll probably get knocked out soon, but what a run.
Oh yeah, well, it's got. I got to believe it's going to get knocked out this coming week. Yeah, but yeah, that'll be its 7th week in release.
What a run!
So, 290? Is that what you said?
250 or 290?
What, KINGSMAN?
Yeah,
how much is made total?
295.
Wow. 290.
So
yeah,
it's going to get 300.
Yeah, that's
pretty cool.
So here's a question. Somebody had asked me on a mailbag recently. It was like, are they for sure moving ahead with the Allegiant Part 1 and Part 2 for the third part, and now it's 4th part because it's splitting the last book into 2, because that's what you do these days. And I said, well, that's the plan, but as in anything, they're saying they're doing it, but if Divergent or Insurgent or Detergent, whatever it's called now, is an unmitigated flop, it doesn't matter that they've announced the next 2, they're not going to do it. They are planning on shooting them back to back and releasing one year after the another. Is this result for Insurgent if you're the head of the studio, you feel comfortable now pushing the button, hitting the green light for moving ahead on the final 2 films?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I mean, that it in its opening weekend got kind of what the first one got in its opening weekend means, all right, like you're right, Christian, the fans who loved the first one are returning to the theaters to see the second one. They're going to come back and see the third and fourth one. So
yeah, the fan base is set in stone. So look, would the studio would have loved it to caught that Hunger Games fire? Of course they would have, but it's not going to. But the loyal fans will keep going, and it'll have a nice run on Blu-ray, and all the fans will want to get it too. So if I'm a studio head, yeah, I absolutely like 3.
I see what you did there. Hunger Games, Catching Fire. Yeah, very good. Yeah, and I agree with you. Yeah, they're moving ahead, no problem.
Hey everyone, if you liked this video, click that thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It's free and helps you stay up to date with all the latest movie news, as well as our daily AMC movie talk show. Also, make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date with all of our special promotions, contests, and prize giveaways.